Welcome to episode 12 of the Backcourt. Plenty ahead. Walkout songs, netball hair and wing attacks. My name's Hannah Kuhart, Matt Fotia. Hello, it's good to see you.
It's always good to see me, isn't it, Hannah?
It is always good to see
pleasure
you.
seeing me. How are you today?
I'm really
You're looking
well.
splendid in your green number here. It's a nice colour.
Autumnal, or I guess we're winter now, a little winter green.
A deep green. A deep green. It's good. I like it. How are things? Sorry, I didn't check in.
Good. I had a good week. Actually, you know what happened to me on the weekend?
I do know what happened to you on the weekend.
Of all people.
What a way to kickstart your weekend.
So I went out for breakfast with a dear friend, Clementine, and as we were saying our goodbyes out the front, I thought, hang on a second, is that Usain Bolt? We were standing opposite a park and there was this really fast runner, and to my surprise, he gave me a friendly wave. And I
Pounding
thought,
the pavement.
This guy's quick and he's friendly. Oh, wait, that's my co-host.
Exactly. It was me pounding the pavement there. Last little effort. I went the early wave. So I came around the bend at Victoria Park and Kew, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. And I've come around the bend towards Adney Avenue, which is where you were having a lovely, lovely breakfast, no doubt. And I've turned the corner. I've thought, that's Q-Heart. That's the Q stick. And I've thought, I'll put the hand up. I'm on the move, mind you. I thought I'll put just the hand up, just a little wave like this. And I've gone early. And I thought to myself for a couple of seconds, she's going to blank me here, and I'm going to be running past with the old wave up. But fortunately, you waved back, and I was able to finish up the hill there. No, it was good. It was a wonderful way to start your weekend, no doubt.
Fantastic for me. Hopefully, equally as good for you. I would never blank you, mate.
No, I was just worried you might not have seen me, but it would have looked embarrassing for me if I would have gone the wave and got no wave in return. But fortunately.
Would you have gone the double wave if I didn't see the first one?
No. I would have just held it. I would have just held it and just kept running and then just made out that, no dramas. I reckon I would have been a play out, and to be honest, no one else would have noticed. It was more of an internal embarrassment. But Saturday morning.
I appreciate how
anytime.
Deeply you considered that, all whilst you were running at the pace of light.
Yeah, have a look at my Strava. Clips. There was a 4:15 set that one. Lit.
I was in my netball gear getting ready to score some C-grade netball, and here you were running around the corner. I thought,
what a thrill for Clementine as well. Both hosts of the Backcourt in one sitting.
Mate.
Oh, that's dream stuff.
She would have loved it. But I do have a bone to pick with you. I think we're getting a lot of feedback that people are enjoying the pod. Yes. And if you are one of those people, please go into Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the rest. Give us a review. But people say that we're doing really well. The chemistry is going well. So I'd like to think we have a great professional working relationship. But I've heard that someone in this relationship has been cheating.
Oh, I wouldn't say the word cheating. I'd say
That's
gaining.
Exactly what a cheater would say.
Just a bit of professional development.
Hang on a minute.
Obviously on Friday evening, there was a post from a much-loved and respected rival podcast. They're not a rival podcast, are they? Completely different areas.
This is exactly what a man cheating on his girl would say.
Everybody has a secret.
You have a big secret, and now it's out. You've been cheating on the Backcourt.
It's one. If you haven't listened to it, it's one of those podcasts where they go, male 28 on wedding day, and I've been, having an affair with my bride's mum. Right, that's the gist of the show.
And you looked down the barrel and you said, I've been cheating on my podcast.
About 8 weeks ago, we went and did a sticker drop video.
Yes, we did.
And you had to run. You had prior engagements. And as we were wandering back down Swan Street, I believe her name is Annabelle, approached with the microphone and her 2 cronies. And they asked if I had a breakup story. And I became vulnerable. I opened myself up. I unzipped myself and spoke about grade 4.
Okay.
And I was able to collect some skincare goods from Kiehl's, who I'm reliably informed is a fairly notable brand. But 8 weeks later or so, they've finally dropped the video. So my secret is out there.
Well, I'm glad that the price is you like just a little bit of moisturiser, and that's enough to get you to divulge your secrets.
It was blemish cream, and I have many a blemish.
Knowing that you cheat on the Backcourt for blemish cream, I'm going to take that awfully personally.
That's fine.
How's your grade 4 crush going?
Well, Chantel, I think Chantel liked the story. Maybe she's a listener.
Saw it.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, both going well. Good.
Well, a big hello to Chantel if you're watching. Thanks for sticking by your grade 4 boyfriend. He's doing my head in here because he's cheating on me. But alas, let's push on. Huge show ahead. There are a lot of people outside of the netball world this week who wanted to weigh into Netty's biggest issue. So I'm going to start with Nick Revolt. He was speaking about Ollie Dempsey, the Geelong winger. Just take a listen to this audio courtesy of SEN.
There It's the wide winger holding his width and then pushing forward. To borrow a position from netball, it's wing attack.
Wing attack.
Wing attacks.
I think it was his idea.
Was it?
Yeah, wing attack. I thought it was quite clever.
The wing attack.
You see, accused.
It's wing attack.
Wing attack.
Wing attack.
Just how excited are you?
Now, as much as I love 3 fully grown men shouting, wing attack, I just have a feeling that they actually don't know what a wing attack does. We do pretty much everything on court, but one thing we can't do is score, and Ollie Dempsey is scoring the house down. So I want to cut Rui some slack, given that he has been living in Texas. He might be out of the netball loop. So to St. Nick and his wise netball woo men, I'm going to offer some advice from a fellow wise man. Get up early, watch the games, do the work, and stop analogizing wing attacks when you don't know what a wing attack does. I think leave the netball analysis to the backcourt and the people who are regularly watching netball. We're available for a pretty cheap price.
I think if anyone at the Agenda Centre's Footy Classified, On the Couch, AFL 360, Fireball, both Monday and Friday, if they would like anyone to talk about netball for a limited time, we are available for any price. Would you agree with that, Hannah?
I'd love to welcome them into the netball world. Yeah,
we could be their wing attack correspondents.
Oh, what a job. I've never wanted to do something more in my life. But speaking of, there are some other people who are coming. They're in the gun.
Well, they're in the gun because they're making comments on things they're not educated on.
Well, I just think netball's always been a sport for inclusion. And so when people from outside of the netball world come in, I say there's space for you. However, do your research. And there's just been a lot of hateful discourse, and we're not about it at the backcourt. Just putting the foot down on that firstly.
We agree with that. We're not about it.
So I'm going to add the Daily Mail to my hate list right now.
3 AWs in there.
Anyone who's outraged by the trans woman Manawa Aranui, who plays netball as she should and is a tall, strong holding goal shooter.
Correct.
And there's a clip circulating around where a silly goal defence just ill-times an attempt at getting a ball that she was never going to get, bounces off the goal shooter, falls to the ground, and that's it.
And what's happened is people that don't understand the sport have come in and just assumed the shooter is a lot taller and bigger, so they must be at fault when they're not. If to the trained eye, the fault lies with the defender because the goal shooter was already there, took the ball cleanly. It's definitely a contact against the goal defence.
It's goal defenders doing silly goal defence things. If anything, the goal shooter was really kind to extend an arm and welcome the defender up. Kind of like, the Romelda Aiken-George approach where she just looks down and
Could
says,
have done it. Could have done it, didn't do it.
Absolutely. So, not a fan of that one within the netball community this week.
Absolutely not. And just a little side note, this is just just the thing I noticed. It came out that the team that had a complaint tried to sign said player. Said player didn't cross teams. I'm just put 2 and 2 together, people, just putting it out there. Bit of a bad breakup.
No. Well, if people are going to jump in the netball world, we welcome you.
Yes. Educate yourselves.
Do some education. That's what we
do
like.
the work.
Do the work. Wake up early.
Exactly.
Thank you, Kane Corns. Maybe he can provide a rev up at some netball games.
Maybe he can.
Although there have been some very spectacular coaches doing some great rev ups around the traps.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got Coach DJ Brown. Now on TikTok, he's titled himself as the Netball Coach Chronicles. And the TikTok, his whole channel is very, very lovely. It's heartwarming. Clearly just a man passionate about growing the game of netball, helping mould the next generation of netballers. But during one of my scrolls on TikTok, a wonderful app, TikTok, it's not your preferred app.
No, but if I'm watching backcourt content on
exactly, you are.
Loving the TikTok.
Exactly, you are. So anyway, I'm scrolling through and I come across this clip from Coach DJ Brown.
I was having a dream that I was getting chased by these rabid dogs, man, these really scary rabid dogs. And I was running because I used to be a fast runner when I was younger, so I'm not as fast now. So it looked like I was running in cement. So I kept on running, and just as all these dogs were coming at me, I woke up. So, this thing. But this morning, I looked, and if you want to have a look at my neck,
oh, how much do you love that?
Well, what I like about it is obviously Coach DJ Brown, which is a great name, by the way, DJ Brown. He's clearly looking for new ways to inspire his troops because gone are the days, Hannah, of just your yelling at people. That's not how people are motivated anymore. You can't just give them a spray or just shout instructions. You've got to motivate players in different ways. And often coaches do a lot of work on their storytelling. In the elite game, they'll do a lot of work on how to change the narrative for each game. And obviously Coach DJ Brown I don't know whether he wants his group of teenagers to go out like rabid dogs and attack their opposition. But what he's done, he may just be trying to lighten the mood before a big game. Maybe just wants them to relax, go into the game, relax, happy, having fun. You often see that in the elite game, people telling jokes right before the first whistle. But it did remind me of that famous 60 Minutes clip, which you may have seen when the old – I'm not going to do it, but yeah, so that sort of reminded me of, which is good. But you will have given a few pre-game speeches in your time. Have you had some good ones? You had some bad ones?
Yes, it is a good trial and error ground. I think my most memorable one was when I was the captain of A grade. I said to the girls, we really need to step it up a notch. We need to go up another gear. Get your gear stick out and we're going 2 to 3. And then instantly half the group laughed and then half just kind of went over their head. And they said, Hannah, you've never driven a manual before, have you? I went, oh, maybe one lesson or so. So that's just not how gears work. Like going up a gear doesn't necessarily mean going up a gear. And I went, well, you understand what I'm trying to say. Let's just go. But it diffused the situation. Everyone has a laugh, and that's when teams play the best.
I've got a bone to pick with your teammates there. I don't think you're in the wrong.
Oh, that's the first time that anyone's ever said that.
I don't think you're in the wrong there. To go up a gear, you've literally described going up a gear. Now, they're obviously talking the nuance of maybe driving up a hill. You drop down a gear to go up a hill.
I just thought for the sake of a simple metaphor.
I agree. I think they're at fault there because what you've explained is very obvious. You've just explained 2 to 3. It's going up, isn't it? You don't have time to go into the nuance of driving a manual car.
Hey girls, we're going up a hill. It's going to be slightly more
The
difficult
revolutions
terrain.
are about at 2,000. We want to get them closer to 3.
Yeah.
You know, exactly.
Yeah, I thought it made sense, but I guess I'd got dropped from the leadership group after that. So.
Well, we've already covered that on previous podcasts. But no, I do want to say I love what Coach DJ Brown's doing. Check out his TikTok. There's some great stuff in there. And, of course, if you've got any pre-game speeches of your own that you'd like to share us, slide in the DMs. We'd love to hear about them.
backcourtdms@gmail.com as well if it's better
we'd
to
love
send
an email. Producer Liv loves an email. We want more emails.
Give us something to read. Someone who has been sending some love messages. Did you hear about Jackie from Maths?
Now, I'll be honest. I know who Jackie from Maths is purely from just the fact that she's clearly doing a lot of work on her own PR, on her own branding to get herself out there. I used to watch Maths back in the day, back the early days. One of my ex-school teachers was actually on the first season, Michael.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't have a great track record when it came to teaching anyway. So we won't go over that. But I do, and there was the season with the little Greek fella, NASA. Do you remember? Oh, you obviously
This is
don't.
way OG.
Yeah. This is ages
When
ago. He was the one who, Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Do you remember NASA?
Oh, I remember the fanfare or the debacle
Because that was the first cheating scandal of maths. That was that with Dean.
Yeah, he was the guy.
Absolute code. Pretty good of a thing. Yeah. Anyway, but that's what started this new wave of basically maths isn't maths anymore. It's just a chance for people to get on there, pretend they're having affairs with people they've never met before, boost the brand, right?
Yeah.
So Jackie's one of those. And again, I can't comment on Jackie. I've never watched a minute. I don't know if she's a good person, a bad person, where she fits. Do you?
Doesn't matter in reality
you don't know?
TV.
Right.
No idea.
So basically, Jackie signed herself up to this website called buymeacoffee.com. And from what I can understand, it's where people can shout each other coffees via a sort of bank transfer. You could just transfer money, to be honest, but she wants multiple people to give it to you.
Who would have thought that a website called buymeacoffee.com would be about buying people coffees?
Well, sometimes websites are misleading, so I thought I'd just... So basically, Jackie's on there, and for some reason, a person like me who's never met Jackie and she probably has more money than me, I can transfer her $5 and say, hey, Jackie...
Coffee's on me, babe.
Get a shot of coffee on me, right?
Love it.
So Jackie quickly got a donation from a supporter, straight away. The only issue was it was herself. She hadn't logged out of her account, and the comment says, thank you for all the laughs. You were our favourite bride of all time, never a dull moment. But then it said Jackie Burfoot became a supporter. So she's just a couple of admin errors that's outed herself. And it reminded me of local sport, not the fact that they were on maths, although there is a few local sports people that have been on maths. But when you have a coach of a club that's still playing, and every now and again they just slide themselves into the best players, into best on court, best on ground. Just a bit of well done, Jackie, from Jackie.
Yeah. Oh, we've seen this happen a few times, this storyline. The producers didn't go too far to find that kind of narrative. It happens in local more than
all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. We had a situation, one of the clubs I played at, where one raffle day, it just happened to be that the coach's grandma won every prize. Like
spot prizes, everything.
Everything. And at the start, you're going, oh, Nana won. Like, oh, by the end, we're like, hang on a sec, what's going on here?
This is dodgy.
Maybe there's a salary cap. The coaches can't get as much as they deserve because they're very good. We did confirm later on, Nana just bought a heap of tickets and I think everyone else wasn't coming to the party as much as Nana did. Not suggesting that anything wasn't above board, but geez, it was funny for the 5th time. And Nana wins the hamper.
They didn't actually yell out Nana, did they? They yelled out her name. They yelled out Nana.
She's Nana
well,
of the
I think
club.
that's more of a red flag that they've called her Nana. That's another field of its own is when the player, the marquee signing, and obviously within salary cap, you don't want to blow your salary cap on one player, but the marquee signing might just happen to win the major prize at the raffle.
Funny that.
Oh, exactly. Just
Or the committee members, they're not allowed to have their name,
yeah.
but somehow their wife's cousin's dog
exactly.
happened to win that.
There was a club we played against years ago. They're now defunct. Or
I
they've
wonder
moved.
why.
They've merged with another club. They had this gun player, and there's not even a salary cap in Premier Cricket from what I understand. But anyway, his wife was getting paid like $30,000 to run the canteen.
See, you hear these stories floating around. You go, how much truth is there?
Exactly.
The kitchen reno. Oh, that's a good
a
one.
lot of clubs do like you get a free landscaping job for free. Basically, your whole garden's done and the club pays for it. So there's ways around these salary cap loopholes. Let us know if your club has cheated the salary cap.
And we'll
Court DMs.
Flick that onto netball in your state.
Exactly.
Or let me know and then I can find my next contract because I like the sounds of a
We
kitchen
can do that segment
renovation.
end of the year.
Hey,
We could be
perfect.
the decision like LeBron.
I like it. More of those stories, please send them in the DMs. Keep it confidential. But something that's a bit more out in the open, Man U, so Manchester United, their women's team have had some fabulous entrance little dances lately that have been catching our eye.
Yeah, so this came again across one of my trawls through social media. So they're playing a final against Bayern Munich in the World Sevens football. So I did a bit of research. Basically, it's Fast Five. That's the closest thing I can probably
So they were
compare
clearly
it to.
inspired by our Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, it is. To be honest, when I was talking to someone else about it the other day, they did say it sounds like Fast Five in terms of the entrances, and that's close enough to it. So they're playing against Bayern Munich in the final of this tournament, 8 teams around Europe, modified rules, blah, blah, blah. And the players enter and they just get called out rather than coming out as a team and doing the traditional lineup for, whatever it is, shake hands. They've all been called out into position. And each player comes out and does a different dance. So I think the goalkeeper comes out doing an Irish jig. We've got one player coming out with the lawnmower, which is close to my heart because it's my father's personal favourite, the lawnmower. It's a classic. Someone's flossing. Anyway, I looked at it. Bayern Munich won 2-1. So I don't know whether the dance moves came into it. But it did get me thinking that should we see more of this in the Super Netball? Because in the Super Netball, each player does, especially at the home team, get called out, goalkeeper, goal defence. They come out. There is an opportunity for them to show a bit of personality. It's probably the only opportunity in the game of netball because it's so non-stop. So I don't know what your thoughts are.
I think we like fun takes on this show, so I'll say absolutely we need this. I think you're right, especially when players get called out one by one. There's nothing worse than awkwardly just standing and shuffling in your spot. So, let's show a bit of personality. We want to know more about our netballers and we want to know what their dance moves are like.
They sort of just go around the circle, don't they? And you high five
you do
everyone
your
and run
high
on.
five circle, you run onto your position. Maybe you say to your girl, oh, good luck.
Now, and this would work, I think, at RAC Arena. We'll get onto that game later on. But that's a coliseum of just one-eyed. Like, that is the scariest place in netball. You've got the big fellow who stands behind the goal with the mic and just shouts the whole game. Imagine Katie Haney coming out, and she would obviously a good dancer as well. But there's another way they could do it just to start off, couldn't they? They could do, rather than dancing, because some players might not want to dance.
Just a little move. I think, or even a wave to the crowd.
But you could have your own personalised walkout song, couldn't you?
Oh, now
this is probably directed at the Mavericks because we know they like to do things a bit differently. They're on the cutting edge. Of course, last year, their first ever game, the players came from the stands. Hutchie went a little bit left field on that one.
Maverick wings descending from the heavens.
Exactly. But we could have walkout songs, couldn't we?
Yeah, that's feasible.
Yeah.
I like maybe both the song and the dance together.
Yeah, ideally. But at a bare minimum, the song, before we get into a couple of our own personal songs, just a couple ones before we get into that. Kira Austin or Lucy Austin could have Stone Cold Steve Austin's music.
Very good.
Especially, you could also work that in if they hit a super shot. But
Kira Austin all over it.
Exactly, Stone Cold every time. And the best one I've seen, and I'll try to get this across social somehow. So the Cleveland Indians pitcher last year, Emmanuel Clace, he was famous for finishing innings. So in baseball, one pitcher starts off and then one guy comes in and tries to close it out, right? And they're often like the big star players. And he walks from the bullpen, which is like the back of the field, across the field to the song Wild Thing. And it's a direct playing off the cult movie classic. There's a player, Ricky Vaughan, who's a picture in this. I can't remember what the film's called. Charlie Sheen plays it.
Yeah.
I'll send you the video personally and
love
try to get up. But it's a really cool, the whole stadium singing Wild Thing, the lights go down, and he walks from centre field all the way to the mound to throw like the last couple of innings in these massive games. It's very cool.
That would just get the goosebumps going. I mean, the Wenger bus, no disrespect to the Wenger bus. We do love the Wenger bus.
It's not the same feeling,
but it doesn't have the same vibe. And I think you're right. We're underutilising this. If you were playing at SSM, what would your walkout song be?
So obviously, if I were able to reach my lofty ambitions of playing SSN, I've got a few options. First off is Crank That by Soulja Boy. You would have been a fan.
Boy,
yeah, exactly. So that could also work into the dance move. Obviously, Soulja Boy dance.
Show us the dance move.
I don't have it on me. We did do it in my dead ball though. Did you ever do a dead ball?
Soulja Boy.
Yeah,
Jeez,
I'm pretty sure
because
you had like your traditional formal dances.
Yeah,
and then they had a fun dance, and we all learnt the Soulja Boy. Anyway, so it might be muscle memory. Another one is Into Club by 50 Cent. Yeah, that's a good one. See, I could see Katie and Dehaney coming out to
just
that.
Bopping along.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The Champ Is Here by Oh Fresh. Just says it in the words.
Enough said, really.
Like, again, this is more of a Janila Ramelda, someone who's been around for a while, won it all before.
You need them to play actually a good game. You can't have one of the benchies
you can't be rolling this for I don't mean to cast aspersions on a player, but I don't know, just top of my head, I don't know.
Pull someone out?
I'm trying to think off the top of my head now. I don't know.
No, you need it to be
Hope White probably can't go with this straight away. She's got to build up to it.
To be honest, I kind of love it if she did because she's playing very, very well.
She is.
And I like that she'd be saying, I've got big shoes, like I'm creating my own big
What about the Kransbergs? Because they're good, but I don't think they've got in the club the Champ Is Here energy. Do you agree with that? They're more Wenger busting than the Champ Is Here. Would you agree with that?
We'll save it for June.
Okay, and then my final one. Now, this one's such a collaboration. This is, again, for someone who's very successful in the game.
Yeah.
It's from DJ Khaled, T-Pain, Ludacris, Snoop Dogg, and Rick Ross. Do you know what I'm talking about?
All I do is win no matter what.
Exactly. That's another good one I think you could play for someone who's taken all before them. They've obviously got a theme there, but they're the four options I'd have that I'd have to think about.
Yeah. So one of my old teammates, Nat, she was an absolute beast goal shooter, held the state team that we were in together, and she said that would be her song. When you all have to contribute the one song to the MP3, and I went, it has to be someone
to
with
the MP3.
The MP3. Listen, back in the day, mate. It was a while ago now. Anyway, so that was her MP3 submission.
Yes. That's up there with Box of Alcohol.
I don't get out in the real world very often.
It's just good. I enjoy it. Okay, what's your option? You've only got one option.
I would go, I think I've got a few options. I would go Boss Bitch by Doja Cat.
Nice. That's a good one.
That is a little bit of ego in that. Like, I don't know if I can own it.
No, but maybe you personally, but the fact that you're already worried about it means probably not. But I think that's what we want from our athletes. We want more ego. I want a player to come out center court to Boss Bitch. Why not?
Yeah, that was my thinking, but maybe I got a bit nervous as I said it.
No. What have you set out a couple more options?
Well, just like on the vein of either the winning bass songs or the independent girl songs, Miss Independent. I'd low-key love to start the
that's just a banger.
It is, right?
I think you'd play it out.
The whole thing, just let it reverberate.
You would have the last player of the team run out to it, so you could play it out. It could be like, crowds in the UK and stuff sing Sweet Caroline. That. If you did it enough, do you reckon the Mavericks crowd would sing Miss Independent?
If I was the last player, so let's say I was the goalkeeper in another universe, I would do Blow by Kesha and just let the whole stadium explode. But because I'm a mid-quarter, I'd never get that opportunity.
This is a good conversation. I think listeners should definitely get involved. Let us know what their walkout song would be, and we can send it on to the clubs.
Yeah,
because there's a few clubs, and we'll get to it. Their season's done, so why not try a few different things like this?
Who can we target?
Well, I think just have a look at the ladder and people can figure that out themselves.
Anyone in the bottom four bracket. All right, so backcourt if you've got a player submission, is there a particular club that would be more receptive to this? Do you reckon if we hit up Ken Rosewall Arena with the Giants and say...
Well, the Giants, I think the Giants will be receptive. I think the Mavericks, as I said, friends of the show, the Mavericks, we love what they do in terms of their off-court stuff, so I think they'd be keen for it.
They've already got a theme song, though.
Yeah, but and we've already spoken about how we think it's a bit change it for Miss Independent.
Get Delta Goodrum back to do the Miss Independent cover. I actually reckon...
Would she do justice to it?
No, not at all. I couldn't give her my...
What's Neo doing these days?
I don't know, and I probably don't want to know. I actually think the Vixens they run a pretty tight ship there, but it feels like the mood's relaxed in the last few weeks with Coach Simone announcing her departure. Maybe they'd be open to shaking things up. So
Maybe.
Well, backcourters.
Could you see Joe Weston running out to Soldier Boy, crank that?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. She would own that. I reckon she's got a whole
If we can get that going, that's white whale stuff.
She likes a few dance classes. She does a few little moves. I reckon she'd have something to offer.
Okay.
All right, backcourters, slide in the DMs, and Matt, he's going to personally contact all of the clubs and
leave
find
it to
out.
me. Leave it to me.
I love it. Somebody who is enjoying the SSN is a Malaysian fan who's travelled from Penang. This one caught your eye, Matt.
Yes, I think it's Hidayah. I apologise if I said that incorrectly. Again, this one was on X. I spent a couple of days just all over social media.
See, between the time of you stalking Lisa Alexander's profile, maybe one occasional tweet comes in
I think
between.
she replied to something of Lisa's. No. So, yeah, I just noticed that she messaged that she posted that she'd travelled all the way from Penang, Malaysia to watch the Lightning take on the Vixens in round 6. Did a little bit more digging from what I could gather. She fell in love with the game when she was in Malaysia, despite having actually been in Australia for a couple of years studying. She never really got into netball while she was here. Again, I might be wrong.
How funny.
And then she went back. And from what I can see on her X, she follows the week to week. She's actively on X, tweeting about it and so on. So she got out to watch a game. The Lightning won, which was massive her, and she got plenty of photos with all the players and the staff afterwards. So just a really good, off the back of us talking about Soldier Boy, a really good, feel-good story about netball fans from around the world.
We love that everyone getting involved in the world's best netball league, and it is for the world's best people.
It's for the
all
world.
of the fans. I like that very much. Well,
Thank you.
hopefully, is it the Lightning, her preferred team, that
Yes.
can get on board? I mean, they've already brought Robert Irwin across. Maybe they can have a global ambassador.
Well, maybe. Is Malaysian Airlines a thing? When the Lightning inevitably make the grand final, maybe they can fly her over for that as well.
Oh, I'd love to see it. Someone who needed something flown over, Coco Gauff. So French Open is going on at the moment, and Coco, I mean, like the world's best athletes, you and I both, we forget things sometimes. And
All the
Coco,
time.
she's no different to the rest of us.
Yeah. So she's obviously, number 2 in the world, Coco?
Doing unbelievably.
Yeah, she's dominating. And during one of her matches against an Australian, Olivia Gadecki, she went on to win 6-2, 6-2. She walked on court in this leather jacket. Now, we're talking walkout songs. I don't think they do them at Roland Garros, but Coco would definitely fit the bill. She's got aura, right? She's walked on this leather jacket.
Such a fly out.
Just just presence. Walked on there, swung her bag off their shoulder as they do, put it on the seats. Hang on a second. She's forgotten her rackets. Now, she said in a quote that she'd put the bag on and it felt quite heavy. So she sort of did it off feel, like it has to be in there.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you pick a bag up and you're like, hang on, this is a bit off.
Tennis rackets are pretty light.
Yeah, so maybe I'm not sure. I don't play tennis. I don't know how much a bag should weigh. But then, she had to get someone to go get her tennis rackets. Anyway, she ended up winning 6-2, 6-2. And obviously she's still going.
With tennis, there aren't too many things to forget.
Well, what have you got? Shoes, drinks?
Which you're probably wearing on your feet.
You would have spares though.
Your drink bottle, they'd probably provide that in the little fridge.
Well, they've got about 9 of them, don't they? They've
Exactly.
Got
So literally you had one job, and the one job was to bring a tennis racket.
You've played every sport. Have you played tennis?
Yeah, absolutely.
No, but and you've properly, we've all played tennis.
Yeah, and the one thing you needed to remember was your tennis racket.
And she's got about 8 of them, probably. Yeah, so anyway, she ended up winning, and it just got me thinking, is there any time you've forgotten anything before a game of netball, any sport? Obviously, you've played every sport.
This is real HK areas. Yes, I have. I think 2 weeks ago I forgot a sports bra.
Nice.
It was very nice for everyone watching floppy titties go up.
Whoa.
I was coming from work or something. And
Were you wearing this green number?
It would have been something like this. I think I had either the strapless bra or a little lacy bralette. And then I rolled up to netball and I went, oh no, what do I do here? Do I wear the lacy
So you've opened your
bralette?
bag and you've immediately...
Yeah. I go, sweet, I've got my dress, my one job to bring that. And then I thought, what do I do here? And so I said, we're going to free the nip. And it was regrettable. It hurt so much. Actually, what was the most regrettable part? That was the week we had the really good photographer come down, and the photos we're not looking fly.
Right. You're not happy with them?
We could have done a little bit more.
Right. That's disappointing. I've also forgotten undergarments before.
Have you?
Obviously not a bralette.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like to play sport in some sort of skins or compression short. And just one morning, undid the bag, sheer panic. Like I'm screwed. And someone was actually going on a coffee run, and I said, if you go past the Rebel Sport, I'll transfer the money. Can you buy me a pair of skins?
Yeah.
And he messaged back, said there's no Rebel Sport at this shopping centre, this shopping strip, which was it was a long shot anyway.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, one of my teammates had a pair of bare Nike Pros sort of stuff. But I'd say we're a slightly different frame because I think he let me keep them. I might have stretched them out a little bit.
Oh, hello, big boy.
Yeah,
okay.
in the behind, it's quite a. Well, you would have seen it pounding the pavement on the wing. It's quite a big
Did not
rump.
look that closely.
The rump. Yeah, no, it's quite. It's look.
Oh, I certainly did not.
My origins quite big in the behind.
Jog on,
So
mate.
I stretched his Nike Pros.
Jog
But yeah, it
on.
happened to all. I think it's happened to all of us. But it's good to see that someone as good as Coco has the same foibles as us.
No, I've forgotten my bike shorts once,
Mm.
and I thought the crowd is getting a lot for more than what they paid for the entry admission. Let
Bums
me tell
on
you.
seat sort of stuff. The
Yeah,
crowd.
little lacy G banger got
There
a
we
bit
go.
of airtime.
Tell you what, I didn't think the conversation would steer here today, but here we are.
Well, I had to say to my teammates, girls, probably don't throw me too many lobs today.
Keep
Let's
it low.
just keep
Bounce passes.
Yeah, just real low action on that one. I have a lot of teammates who've forgotten their shoes and had to do crazy circumnavigation of Victoria to find some shoes. WA as well when I played there. It happens far more often than what I think we'd
I
all
feel
like to
like
think.
Undergarments probably easier to forget because it's like such a minimal. I feel like shoes should be the easiest thing to remember because they take up so much room in a bag.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But also things like when you forget to maybe wash your dress, that might have happened
Well, that's
maybe once and you go, gosh, where to from here?
But we live and learn. I don't think it'll ever happen to Coco again.
I'm sure it won't, and it won't happen to either of us ever again. I don't know about that. I played netball last week.
Yes.
When I did forget one piece of undergarment, I might have been playing VNL, and one of my opponents in the Casey Demons, a former club, has done a sensational mic up. So I want to give a bit of love to my old mob in the Casey Demons. Sasha McDonald, she did a sensational one at a match I played.
Yeah. So Sasha I think she was playing for the Mavs reserves
Yeah.
maybe later that day or that week. So she wasn't playing this game. So they mic'd her up, the Demons. And she was sitting next to the coach on the bench there and just making comments as the game went on. So again, we might put this on socials. If not, head to the Casey Demons VNL Instagram. It's all there. It's a pretty good sounds of the game. It's some elite yapping from Sasha. Again, sounds like someone who'd be an enjoyable afternoon. Sasha should have plenty to talk about. Only 2 notes from me. Poor Ella is probably the only person in the video that anything negative is said about. And I don't know what their relationship's like.
Ella's a ripper on court and off court,
Yeah.
one of the best.
I think she must have just done a simple turnover or something like that. So a couple of, fuck me, Ella or something like that. But halfway through, Sasha says half down, half up hair. It's incredible. And then I flicked into the comments and HK's in there and that's you, half down, half up.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
Can you explain that? Because the people I've spoken to since seem that's blown their mind, the half down, half up.
I didn't realise this was so controversial.
Well, neither did I.
I like to roll at netball. I've played netball since I was 7, so many
You've
years
never mentioned it, so yeah.
to try. Well, I didn't think it was important.
Yeah.
I've had to trial many different hairstyles over the years. Things like the plait or a ponytail have whipped me in the eyes, and I thought, let's not do that again.
So they're coming around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if I have a bun, my hair's a bit too thick, it'll either weigh me down or just not aerodynamic. Scientific principles, the hair goes everywhere. And so the hairstyle that I've settled on is a half up, half down. So just simply, we do a live action demo.
Yeah.
I just take the side parts like this, put them behind my head, tie it with a hair tie, and then that's
it's like
it.
multi-layered. Yeah.
So it's just pretty simple. Half of my hair positioned on top of my head, secured by a hair tie, and the other half flowing freely in the breeze.
Anyway, so I was going to say something. I decided not. You're right. Yeah. No, it's fine. We'll leave it subtext. People can figure out what I meant.
Very good.
So I, again, personally didn't think this was controversial, but it seems as though it is. So we put out a question to our fans.
For further context, so my teammate said, "What the F are you doing?"
Yeah,
The first
time you did it, right.
And I said, "Girls, like, trust me, I've had a whole off season to trial this.
Yeah.
This is going to be the winning hairstyle." And they said, "How's your neck not getting sweaty?" And I thought, oh, geez, am I not running enough?
Wow.
It feels fine. It's a bit cold in winter anyway, so it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Also, when you sit on the bench, it keeps you nice and warm. But then, Sasha
We put it out
McDonald,
there.
I felt a bit chuffed because she said, I don't know how she's playing with that. And then she said, I really like it. I thought, thanks,
There
Sasha.
you go. You done now?
Yeah, just give
little
myself
uptick.
a little,
Okay, that's good.
little
Next time you
shout
want one, just
out.
let me know.
I think more people should get around the half up, half down. I'd love to see some plays in the SSN with a bit of leadership and also local netball. I'm trying to start the new wave
Maybe
of
you should do
hairstyle.
on your socials, on your TikTok. You should do how-tos. Get ready with me.
Oh, I'm not really that type of gal.
Well, you're asking for leadership. Take the initiative.
All right, someone join with me. I need a co-captain.
If you do one, we'll post on the backcourt channels. People can. Anyway, so we asked the listeners.
Yes.
We put out a story.
We did yesterday.
And we said because it turned out it was controversial, and we thought, right, well, let's ask people, what is the ideal netball hairstyle?
Give me some. I'm open to 360-degree feedback. I've always told my coaches I'm happy for their advice.
You seek it, if anything, don't you?
I'm proactive in receiving feedback, and so if the backcourters want to sort my hair out, I'm happy.
Now, no one came in and said half up, half down is
not one single contribution.
No, right. No one said that, but they also didn't say it dumb, right? They just hadn't seen it. So here's people that this is their preferred. So we've got Emily is a low plaited ponytail.
Yeah.
Lauren's double braids. Sophie is a slick back bun, which is, I assume a lot of people are going to say that. We had a couple more that said the bun, especially for defenders. I don't know why. They didn't elaborate. Please let us know. That was from Emily. Lily said a slick back ponytail or two braids into a ponytail, which sounds very complex to me.
I like it when it gets scientific.
Exactly. Georgia, pony plait. Sophie said the pony plait is goated. What's a pony plait? Like, do you plait it and put it in a ponytail?
Yeah, I think, or sometimes people do, what I'm liking the look of, which has been mentioned a couple of times, when people braid the top and then it comes out as a ponytail.
Okay. So Jade has said a slick back pony and plait. Apparently, though, the Northern Football Netball League won't allow plaits or braids.
See, I used to play for that league and there's a reason why I left it.
So that's a general rule.
I'm kidding. I didn't leave it for that reason.
Well, obviously, you have a half down, half up. They would allow that. You were fine.
Leagues. No. Some leagues did not like it.
They don't. So they can tell you how to wear your hair.
Rep basketball back in the day would make me take.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, but they would make you take. If you had a plait, they would say, "No, we're taking that bottom hair tie and let it run like a horse's tail, free."
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Literal ponytail. But yeah, I think some netball leagues take a stance on these things.
There you go. We've got Kendra with a high pony plait or a braid into bun, as you already mentioned there. Cal said two plaits into one ponytail. Seems to be a hit with the juniors. So that's the next gen. Maybe you could inspire the next gen, Hannah, to go into your style.
Mate, the kids inspire me.
Well, I don't know what to say. That Susie says upside down braid, Helen Housby style.
Love it.
So what's an upside down braid?
So you'd be going underneath. So find the nape of your neck.
The nape of my neck, go on.
Do the braid up the back.
Yeah.
And then put it so you could only see if you're looking at the nape of her neck.
Right, so this is really intricate.
Yeah, it's amazing. Helen Housby's hair, she consistently nails super shots. She consistently nails the hair game.
And the final one, this is my favourite, from Geordie, the mullet. It's the natural ponytail.
Thank you. That's what I'm providing.
Right.
Mullets have been very in the last year. I might be on the tail end of it.
Yeah, couple years, I reckon, yeah.
Yeah, well, better to jump on late than never at all.
Exactly.
So I'd like to think I'm doing a little lady mullet.
Well, I think out of this conversation, the main learning is that you're going to do a get ready with me. We're going to post it on the backcourt channels and you're going to show people how to do the half up, half down.
I don't think anyone actually wants that.
I do.
Okay, well, with your luscious locks, I'll do a one-on-one tutorial.
Yeah, okay, I like the sounds of it.
All right, no more silly netball chat. Let's get into the hard stuff. Time for some netball news. The pundits said we might have a grand final preview this week. The Thunderbirds and the Swifts might not be a preview, but it certainly was, I'd say, almost match of the year so far, Matt.
Oh, absolutely, game of the year, Hannah. It was a rip snorter of the game, to use a word that's not used very much. It was exciting. The crowd was up and about there at Ken Rosewall, both bowls. It's probably the only stadium in the world that refers to its two segments as the bowls. Have you noticed that? The Swifts, they go lower bowl sold out rather than tier. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. It was a great game of netball. We spoke about Laddie Wilson and Grace going head-to-head. Grace probably got the points, but Laddie had plenty of wins in there. The Thunderbirds' second quarter, though, 19-9. Now, even though they didn't win, Hannah, I think that's a blueprint for the rest of the competition to just watch that quarter in isolation and figure out how they did it.
Taking the words out of my mouth, I think Dan Ryan, I think he'd be watching that second quarter on repeat, plus 10. I also want to ask, how did the Thunderbirds lose? I thought by that point, geez, they in the box seat to drive this one home.
They lost, I think it was either side of three-quarter time. So they had a bad couple of minutes before three-quarter time, couple of turnovers, and obviously Housby is a gun from super shots, and they capitalised. And then their first two centre passes after three-quarter time, they turn it over.
I love it when you do a bit of netball talk. Look at you doing all this analysis.
This is just watching. You don't hate it. I've never played. It can't be that hard.
It can't be that hard. Tell Helen Housby that.
Exactly. Anyway, so I think that's where it was. Like the little swings and then Swifts are back on and we know they're pretty ruthless. But I thought in the second quarter with the 19-9, they get to Grace. Like they're so, obviously Grace is a gun. So they're just like focused on Grace. And I think in the end, Housby only didn't score outside of the power 5 in the first half or something along those lines.
Yeah, her numbers were crazily low.
Like she only shot once in regular time, as Coxie was saying on the call. So I think then that allows Matilda Garrett, she knows where the ball's going. So I think, and then after half time, I think Bryony might have taken someone aside and said, I can get involved. And then what happens is Matilda has to actually pay attention. It's weird to say that they weren't paying attention to her, but it was a bit single avenue. So maybe that was it. But it'll be interesting to see, like you said, I'm sure Dan Ryan will be studying that footage.
Once again, there was a goaler who hit the 9,000 goal mark in Romelda Aitken-George. I thought Ken Rosewall Arena would have learned from the previous week when the confetti didn't descend from the ceiling. I don't know what happened for Romelda. Fox did a little graphic.
They did.
But I hope that there was a big party afterwards to get around.
Obviously, she played a year for the Swifts as well. Yes. So that would have been quite nice. She's obviously celebrated 2 major milestones this year against the Swifts as well.
I think we can keep celebrating her every week.
Exactly. I think confetti-wise, it'd be a great opportunity for Patrick, the mop man, to get out there. Imagine how long he would be on court if there was confetti all over the court.
Please, give the fans what they want.
Exactly, more mop man. The only other thing is, right at the end, obviously it's NBA finals time at the moment. OKC are playing the Indiana Pacers in the finals. But what they do in the basketball sometimes, if the game's pretty much decided, the last few seconds, the teams just walk off. Once, if the game's done, there's 7 seconds left, the team in possession will just drop the ball and let it bounce and everyone just walks off down the tunnel, right? I think we got as close to that as possible in this game. So with 2 seconds left, Romelda actually gets a deflection. It goes out of play. So I think it's a Swifts ball in their defensive third, right? They didn't do it because we don't do things like that in netball, but I reckon we were as close to a walk-off as ever seen. It would have been great if they just left Sarah Clown, everyone else just walked off and she just had to throw it into play.
Well, I think
everyone just walked off down the tunnel.
That entire last minute was just pure icing of the ball. And I can't remember the last time where I saw a full minute of a team.
It was more than a minute. I reckon it was a minute and a bit, yeah.
Of a team not even pretending to go to the post. Like by the end, I think there were, 5 seconds to go. They still didn't look hungry to take a shot.
And the commentary was good too. I don't know who the commentator was on Fox, but he was like, the Thunderbirds, someone has to get an intercept. Well, thanks, mate. Yeah, fine. They'll run around going, wait till the shot clock goes out. But no, it was a great game. And obviously those 2 teams played a great grand final a couple of years ago. So maybe it is a grand final preview. But yeah, NBA walk-off almost occurred.
It was very fun. I think the Giants and the Vixens match 61-71. Vixens narrowly getting it done. That was fun. I just wish the Giants, they're in it for like 3 quarters at the moment. Just want them to push through and get one kind of win. But the biggest point out of that, Casey Kopua coming into the side. I mean, it's been the talk of the town. I think it's unreal that no matter what the league of netball is, if you're missing a player, your coach calls up someone from her old team and says, look, we just need a ring in. Can you help us out? Come down. And Casey's gone, yep, I'll come out of retirement for the second time. Not the first, but the second time. Come for my 3rd stint of playing. Julie apparently called her on Tuesday. She caught the flight on Wednesday. Goes down to training Thursday. She's the starting goalkeeper by Sunday. So
she's a mum, isn't she, Casey?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you know how many kids she has?
Oh, 2 or 3.
Multiple, you're right. So maybe, I don't know how old the kids are, but when Julie rang her, maybe the kids had been a bit, they'd been grinding her gears that day. And she thought, you know what? I might go for a little holiday across the ditch.
A week in Australia doesn't sound so bad.
A week in Australia, a bit of netball, catch up with some old friends. I'm sure her and Julie had plenty to catch up on. No, it was good. To be honest, I think initially,
just on that, I wasn't sure how prepared she was when she rolled up with the white shoes and the black socks. I thought she was wearing
ankle braces for a second there.
I'm very sure they were black socks.
No, because initially I thought that's ankle braces. And then they did a hard sort of zoom in on her smash cut, and they were Nike socks. And she was wearing Asics shoes. She's that far out of the game. She doesn't have a sponsor anymore. She's genuinely just like any of us. She's grabbed a pair of socks from one drawer and grabbed her shoes on the way out. She might have even bought them.
Well, I was thinking if she played, the last time she played was in the 2019 World Cup. Do you reckon she's just kept an old pair of Asics for 6 years?
I'm pretty sure she's an F45 ambassador in her bio on Instagram. Leave this with me for a second. So maybe they're not netball shoes though, are they? For your F45 sort of.
Who knows? But the other part that cracked me up, speaking of a bit of hair chat, she comes onto the court with her ponytail and she plays that in quarter 1. Did you notice going into the second quarter, she puts it up in a bun, clearly went, geez, this is a bit of sweaty work at quarter time. Roll up the sleeves.
Well, maybe the youngsters said that's not what you do. Maybe she just got a bit of feedback.
No, you can get around a ponytail, but clearly wanted to get the hair off the back of her neck. She was working in that second quarter.
She's a F45 trainer and sports coordinator. So she's definitely probably running most of the time in some sort of runners, but yeah, not netball shoes. Obviously, a lot of the conversation was around the fact that like they've gone to someone who's almost 40 or 40.
39, yeah.
Yeah, and hasn't played in 6 years. And they were saying, why not a pathway player? And initially when I saw the news, I tended to agree with it. But then Julie explained that when Jodie Ann Ward went off the court the week before, the only person over 23 on the court was Jamie Lee Price. And she probably thought, and so then once she said that, I was like, actually, that makes sense. Because if you put in another pathway player playing against the Diamonds bowling pair, like you're just asking, like it does get to a point eventually where it's like you can't just let them be lambs to the slaughter. So I actually do appreciate that. Whether she had to go to someone that hadn't played in 6 years and was living in another country, that's probably the debate. I'm sure there might have been someone in Australia. But I do actually tend to agree now that she's explained her decision. I actually tend to agree with it.
I just love the idea of Julie sitting down one afternoon.
Do you reckon she's just going through the phone book?
Absolutely.
Casey was good. Yeah, I might give Casey a call.
Yeah, no. I reckon she's called every person in Australia, anyone who's worn a Diamonds dress lately or not even lately, and she's just
Do you
called.
reckon old school phone book? Because Julie obviously been around for quite a while. Do you
100%.
reckon we're talking old school Rolodex?
She'd keep it in her handbag,
Yeah.
flip to the A page. Oh, who's there? B, Bianca Chatfield, give her a call.
That
C,
would have been
keep
good.
flipping through.
That would have been good. Because Chatters could have done the Fox pre-game, played, thrown to pivot or whatever's on afterwards.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Got to jump in quarter time. Ask
When
a few
they
questions.
do the huddle, Chatters is just crossed to her.
I'll show you.
Yeah, this is
We're gonna
what
throw
Julie
down
said,
to
guys. Yeah.
Bianca Chatfield, and now we'll throw back to Bianca Chatfield.
Chatters she'd be up to it.
Oh, I did ask her earlier this morning,
Right.
if you got a call, what would you say?
Yeah.
I don't know whether she'd be chomping at the bit for the opportunity,
Right.
but I
Well,
don't
I
think that
reckon
Julie has that
Casey-
many candidates.
Maybe Casey just had a rough day at work and just thought, you know what, a week off doesn't sound too bad to me. But like you said, Giants did well, hot start. Vixens eventually clawed them back. And a couple of things before we move on. Matisse, 9 super shots from 16 attempts, a lot of attempts. And Kira Austin pretty much ran the game. 22 goals, 6 super shots, 30 feeds, 20 assists. Good to see. A few people have said the Kipper was looking a bit off the boil, but it was good to see her back to her best. It was an all-round good game.
It was. I know I tipped the Giants, and I honestly thought they were a really hot
Same.
chance of getting home for a majority of that match, but I just wanted to see them push on. But maybe the Vixens trip to the pub did them the world of
Well,
good.
they're back-to-back since the pub comment. 2 wins. No, but 2 wins, and both games they've got 70 plus. And previously, their offense is actually the worst or one of the worst this year in terms of just pure numbers. So to get 2 games back-to-back 70, it shows that some things, albeit against bottom 2 sides, but a bit of momentum.
Well, this is the advice that the backcourters could have given for free. Go to the pub and you play better netball. We've known that for a long time. The Lightning
How
and
hard can it be?
How hard could it be? Matt's words and not mine. The Lightning and the Mavericks, 67-70. Again, your Lightning coming up trumps. Mavericks, there's a couple of issues within that side.
Yeah, I'll be honest, didn't watch this one live, watched the mini this morning. Mavs were down 16 at the final change. So the score, they obviously did well in the last quarter, but that's sort of probably doesn't represent it. Steph Fretwell didn't miss. 7 super shots and 7 one-pointers.
Yeah,
so that's
she was
pretty
unreal.
impressive.
Yeah.
Liz was 45 feeds, so they're starting to per time their run
Yeah.
sort of stuff. The Mavs they've usually been pretty good at getting ball, and then that was probably the thing that, I don't know if it let them down, but that's been their one wood, getting
Yeah.
ball, and they just didn't hit it. And they've just I don't know. So I've been thinking about it, and I think maybe we're a bit harsh on the Mavs because since their inception, they actually have had the cruelest run with injuries. Like Glasgow didn't play at all last year. Now Cardwell, Parkinson did come back on the weekend, but obviously not at top level.
Yeah, at reserves, which is very exciting, and we hope to see her out again soon for the senior Mavericks. I think the excitement package from that match, if I had now, she put up 2 super shots, which is the most she's equal most she's ever
And
scored.
put up
Sorry,
and shot them.
she scored 2
Yes.
super shots, which is the equal most that she's nailed in a match ever. She's only done that on 4 occasions. This was the first time for the Mavs that she shot 2. So I'm wondering whether she's got that shooting license for the 2-point.
Well, I think the first one occurred, it was 2 seconds ago before halftime, and it was necessity,
Yeah.
which breeds innovation, doesn't it? So she nailed it, and then the next one she nailed, and then the third one right at the end she missed, so it ruined her perfect 2-point shooting percentage.
But you wonder, is this a new game plan for the Mavericks? Entrust
Because
Shimona.
they take her off, obviously, to
Sometimes, not all the time.
not all the time, but they take her
Yeah.
off to try and maximise the Power 5. But she's probably their best player.
Yeah,
right.
hey, she was last year.
Well,
won
exactly,
the
and like again,
MVP.
especially in the front half, she's their most consistent player. So if there's a way to keep her on for 60 minutes, that would be ideal. So it's either be out in front or she starts putting them up. Every time I say super shot, I like get a lisp. Say too much.
Say it again.
yeah.
So I guess something to note next week. Does she put up some more super shots or?
Yeah, maybe. Well, they've got a big game in terms of pride. But yeah, Lightning, all the Lightning have done well this year is beat the teams they need to beat.
That's enough to get you into the top
Exactly.
4. Another team surging up the top 4, the Fever, demolishing the Firebirds, 82-65. Fever's equal biggest margin this season. So
this
huge
season.
win for them.
Yeah, which we sort of expected. To be fair, the Firebirds didn't play that badly. It's just like
They were pretty
at the
somewhat close to some of
cauldron,
it.
the green cauldron over there, like that. It's the hardest place to go, isn't it? In netball.
100%.
Like it's a bunch of people just like all dressed in the same colour, just screaming. Not at you, it's just around. It's like a wall of noise. Like it's intimidating.
11,000 crazy passionate fans. Love it.
You don't see it in many other netball. Like even John Cain when it's packed, it's a much
different vibe.
It's not as parochial, isn't it? Like it's a bit more just enjoy the netball, which is good. I enjoy it. Like get behind your team. So you can see how the Firebirds coming off 6 straight losses or 5 straight losses, and then they've got to go to Perth and take on the Green Machine. So I thought they played all right. Fever are much better than them. Everyone did well. If you look at the stat sheet, everyone at Fever got to go. Everyone went well. No one.
Tick.
Yeah, everyone did well. They've won 6 in a row.
They keep rolling. Do you think the Firebirds, they play against your beloved Sunshine Coast Lightning this week? How do you think they're going to go?
We're getting into the tips. I don't think they'll win, but I tip the Lightning every week.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Swifts and Fever, this is going to be the match of the round.
I'm going to surprise you here. I'm going to tip the Fever. I know I said last week I'll tip the Swifts until they lose, but they just looked a bit shaky, and this might be the loss they have to have.
Okay, a character building week.
Got Katie Ann Dehaney, right?
Yeah.
Who, she's probably the perfect matchup for someone like Grace because she's a bit dynamic like Laddie, but also a lot taller than Laddie.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Sunday plays on Helen, and then Jess Ansis is a very, very good wing defence. So they've got, and then obviously Janelle at the other end. So yeah. I've just got a feeling. So I'm going to go the Fever and give you another opportunity to catch up.
I need to take these moments. So I will be going for the Swifts, Vixens and Mavericks.
Vixens. But I'd love to see a Mavericks walkout song.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
Vixens though.
I'll go the Mavs.
Well, you need to catch up.
I'm clawing back tips this
running
week.
Out.
Thunderbirds and Giants. We're both probably the T-Birds.
Yeah, Thunderbirds. They need to win.
Although I'm in my heart, I'm going for the Giants.
Well, they've lost them already, and the Vixens Thunderbirds, it's only percentage, so have to keep winning.
All right. Now, I think we're both tip-wise going for the Thunderbirds. But, yeah, go Giants. We'll cheer them on. That brings us to the end of another episode.
We went everywhere today, didn't we?
Far-reaching it, but I think some things need to be said. And
exactly.
we just
Soldier Boy, bralettes, hairstyles, rumps.
What more could you want? When you tune into the backcourt, you don't know what you're going to get. But if you follow us along on social media, then maybe you get a feel for it. So TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, you know the deal. We'll see you again next week.